Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the executive orders signed by President Donald Trump since his return to office in 2025. Because apparently, one term just wasn't enough. He's been busy signing numerous executive orders, each with the potential to significantly impact the country. These orders are already making waves both here in the US and internationally, and the response has been varied. Some folks are excited, while others are considering their options. But what exactly do these executive orders mean for us, the American people? Well, buckle up because we're about to break it all down in detail. From climate change to healthcare, immigration to the economy, Trump's pen has been very active. And just like a child's artwork, the results are open to interpretation. So grab your beverage of choice, settle in, and let's try to make sense of it all, shall we? Alright, let's kick things off with a topic near and dear to everyone's hearts, the environment. Or more specifically, America's stance on combating climate change. President Trump has decided to withdraw the US from the Paris Climate Agreement. This decision has sparked significant reactions. For those unfamiliar, the Paris Agreement is a major international accord. It's a global effort where countries commit to reducing emissions. However, not all countries have the same level of commitment. Some leaders have expressed skepticism about climate change. This decision has led to concerns among environmental activists and world leaders. They argue that it isolates the US from crucial global discussions on climate change. Supporters of the withdrawal believe it protects American jobs. Critics, however, worry about the long-term environmental impact. But wait, there's more. Moving away from certain global commitments, the administration is focusing on fossil fuels. That's right, we're talking about coal, oil, and gas. These energy sources have been linked to smog-filled cities, oil spills, and carbon emissions. The administration argues that this focus on domestic energy independence will create jobs and boost the economy. And it might, in the short term. But what about the long-term consequences? We're rapidly approaching a critical point when it comes to climate change. It's like eating a whole tub of ice cream for dinner. Sure, it might be enjoyable in the moment, but the stomach ache you'll have in the morning, not so much. So, there you have it. The country is navigating its energy policy and climate commitments. It's a complex issue with many perspectives, and the stakes are high for our planet. But, hey, at least we're number one at something, right? Alright, moving on from one global crisis to another, let's talk about healthcare. Specifically, America's decision to withdraw from, wait for it, the World Health Organization. Yes, you heard that right. During a global pandemic, the decision was made to leave the organization responsible for coordinating global health efforts. This move reflects a shift towards a more independent approach to global health issues. Some argue that this allows for more national control over health policies. Others believe that isolating from international cooperation during a global health crisis could pose significant challenges. Immigration has always been a significant topic in American politics. And just like with his hotels and casinos, Trump is planning something big. We're talking declare a national emergency to speed up the wall big. The focus is on building a concrete structure to address border security. The administration emphasizes that this is about safety and securing the nation, ensuring that border security measures are comprehensive. The message is clear. The administration is taking a firm stance on immigration. Policies have been adjusted to tighten asylum applications, making it more challenging for individuals seeking refuge. The approach reflects a stricter immigration policy. It's a significant shift in how the nation handles immigration, and it's a topic that continues to spark debate across the country. Look, I'm no historian, but I'm pretty sure this whole nation of immigrants thing is kind of a big deal in America's history. It's literally in the brochure. But with these new policies, that tagline is starting to feel a bit different. The administration argues that this is all about controlling the border, about making sure only the right kind of people get in. Which begs the question, who gets to decide who the right kind of people are? Because last I checked, unless you're a Native American, your ancestors probably showed up here with a suitcase full of dreams and maybe a recipe from the old country. These policies are like a giant go-back sign plastered on the Statue of Liberty, and they send a chilling message to the world. America's doors are becoming more selective, and that's not just un-American, it's downright un-neighborly. Well folks, it seems there's a new focus in the latest executive orders. No, it's not climate change or crumbling infrastructure or even the rising cost of living. It's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. These initiatives aim to ensure everyone has a fair shot, regardless of race, gender, or other factors. Some argue that these programs are divisive and create unnecessary burdens. This perspective suggests that such programs might not be the best approach for unity. On the other hand, supporters believe DEI programs are essential for leveling the playing field. The debate continues on how best to achieve fairness and equality. It's a complex issue, with valid points on both sides, and the conversation is far from over. And if you thought changes to DEI programs were significant, hold on, because there's more to come. In a move that has sparked much debate, the administration has decided to redefine gender. According to the new policy, the federal government will recognize only two genders, male and female. This decision has raised questions about the complexity of gender identity, and this isn't just about definitions, it has practical implications. This affects everything from federal identification to government forms. For transgender and non-binary individuals, this change presents significant challenges. Supporters of this policy argue that it aims to uphold traditional values. Critics, however, believe that it overlooks the diversity of human experiences. Well folks, it seems that in the Trump administration's efforts to make America great again, they've adopted a new strategy, redefining their approach to international agreements. And how are they doing this, you ask? By withdrawing from the OECD global tax deal. Now, for those of you who haven't been following the world of international tax law, this deal was designed to create a more level playing field for businesses and prevent multinational corporations from avoiding taxes by stashing their profits in offshore accounts. These are practices that have raised concerns among many about fairness and transparency. The idea was to ensure that everyone pays their fair share, a concept that has sparked much debate. By pulling out of the deal, the administration has left the rest of the world to ponder America's stance on global tax policies. And as if pulling out of the global tax deal wasn't enough to stir things up in the international arena, the administration has decided to introduce a new trade policy. This move, which some describe as risky, involves imposing a significant tariff on Colombian products. The reason? Colombia's recent decision regarding deportation flights. While Colombia's stance is a factor in this situation, some argue that responding with a trade policy change is like overreacting to a minor issue. It's seen by many as excessive and potentially harmful to all parties involved. But perhaps, amidst the economic challenges, there's a lesson to be learned about the complexities of international relations. Alright, let's talk about technology and energy. These two elements often define whether a country is advancing or holding on to traditional methods. On one side, there's a significant investment in artificial intelligence amounting to $500 billion. This substantial funding is generating a lot of enthusiasm in the tech community. It's being promoted as a strategic move to maintain a leading position in the AI sector. Similar to past technological races like the space race, this initiative aims to push the boundaries of AI development, though the exact goals are still being defined. Perhaps we'll see advancements like robot butlers for household chores. The future applications of AI remain open to speculation. While AI development is in the spotlight, other energy policies are also being shaped. There has been a shift away from certain renewable energy projects. The focus has moved from electric vehicle targets and wind energy permits. Instead, there's an increased emphasis on traditional energy sources. This change has sparked varied reactions from different groups. Some industries are welcoming the shift, while others are concerned about its implications. Ultimately, the direction of progress depends on one's perspective. Now, you might be thinking, hold on, what about the ethical implications of all this advanced technology? And it's a valid question. I mean, have you seen the Black Mirror episode about the robot bees? It's concerning. But apparently those issues are being filed under things we'll worry about later, right next to the national debt and the impending climate challenges. Look, I'm not saying AI doesn't have the potential to be amazing. Imagine personalized medicine, self-driving cars that actually work, and maybe, just maybe, an algorithm that can finally tell us what the latest social media trends are all about. But rushing headfirst into a future powered by algorithms without considering the potential consequences is like letting a toddler loose in a laboratory. It's only a matter of time before something goes wrong. Meanwhile, the push for more fossil fuels? Well, that's not exploding so much as it's slowly affecting our environment. The argument is that this is about energy independence and bringing back jobs. And sure, nobody wants to be reliant on other countries for their energy, especially when those countries might have different approaches to international diplomacy, but sacrificing the planet for a short-term economic boost? That's like selling your kidneys to buy a slightly used jet ski. Sure, you might have a good time for a little while, but eventually, you're going to regret not having those kidneys when you're, trying to filter your blood and all. Let's discuss the January 6th pardons. The decision to pardon individuals involved in the events at the Capitol has sparked significant debate. Pardons are a presidential prerogative. They allow the leader to offer clemency in certain situations. However, pardoning individuals involved in such a significant event raises many questions. The events of January 6th were a pivotal moment in recent history. The decision to pardon those involved is a bold move. Time will tell how this decision will be viewed. The administration presents this as addressing perceived injustices. They argue these individuals were not violent criminals but were caught up in the moment. The events of that day were complex and involved many different actions. Not everyone present was there with the same intentions. Some may have been there for different reasons, including capturing the moment on social media. But to characterize the entire event as a misunderstanding oversimplifies the situation. It's important to consider the broader context and respect the complexities involved in such a significant historical event. The issue with these pardons isn't just that they seem to undermine the rule of law, it's that they set a concerning precedent. It's essentially saying that loyalty to a particular person or ideology outweighs any responsibility to the country as a whole. And that, my friends, is how trust in institutions erodes, not in one dramatic moment but gradually, bit by bit, pardon by pardon, until the very idea of accountability becomes as outdated as a dial-up modem. Now I know what you're thinking, John. You're being a bit dramatic. It's not like these pardons are going to magically transform the country into some kind of dystopia. And to that I say, maybe not, but they certainly don't help. It's like trying to put out a fire by dousing it in gasoline. Sure, it might make for a good spectacle in the short term, but in the long run, it's just going to make things a whole lot worse. The real question is, where does this end? If we're willing to overlook attempts to undermine democratic processes, what else are we willing to tolerate? It's a slippery slope, my friends, and once you start sliding, it's hard to stop. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the 2025 executive orders. From artificial intelligence to the energy sector, from immigration to significant national events, it's been a wild ride. And by wild ride, I mean the kind of ride you find at a carnival that's barely held together by duct tape and hope. What do you think? Are these policies steering the country in the right direction, or are they creating more challenges? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And remember, no matter how uncertain things may seem, we can get through this together, just like we always have, by clinging to hope, relying on each other, and maybe, just maybe, investing in a really good therapist. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. I'll see you in the next video.